Welcome back to the Commercial Real Estate Show. I'm Michael Bull. Today we're talking about warehouses. We're talking about industrial real estate. We're talking about flex space, and we're talking about logistics. Please welcome my next guest. It's Dayne Pryor. Dayne is partner with Panattoni. Now, Panattoni has 17 million square feet of industrial properties under contract right now. They own over 40 million square feet across the country. Dayne's with us here in Studio One. Dayne, thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me, Michael.
Well, we appreciate you being here in the studio, and I'm curious. It seems like the industrial market, it's been hot. It keeps getting hotter. What are you seeing out there for tenant demand in the properties you have around the country right now?
Well, we see demand is still pretty strong. It's there was so little construction, between 2008 and 2012. That there was a lot of tenant buildup in demand, and so that's starting to really hit the market now, and you're seeing it across the country that tenants have absorbed space that's been on the market for a while, and we're now all the developers are building space to serve that demand that's coming up. So,
yeah, and you're building quite a bit, it seems. So, how much of this already has tenants, and how much is spec?
We've been on a track doing about 80% of our product has been in build-to-suits for the last couple of years. It's probably closer to about a 50-50 mix right now between build-to-suits and speculative space, just because we're trying to serve, the demand that we see in those individual markets that are coming up, and we see that momentum. So we're trying to capture that deal velocity in those markets.
Are most of these deals the build-to-suits for these? Are there tenants? They're not buying these buildings.
I would say most of them are lease deals.
Yeah.
Probably 2 out of 10 deals I see are deals where the client wants to own the building or the user wants to ultimately own the building. We do some of that and on a fee development basis, but most of what we're seeing, companies are really trying to deploy their capital in their businesses and let the real estate be a lease obligation versus trying to own it.
Right. Well, that makes sense for them typically. So to put it in perspective, then Dayne, how does this look compared to kind of historically how much you guys have had under construction?
So, right now we are just about back to where we were in, say, 2007, where we were developing about 20 million square feet a year, and we're on track to clip off about 17 to 20 million square feet in the next 12 months. So
nice. Now, you seen any better performance in any particular types of industrial properties or sizes?
The investors, the users, we're seeing a lot more in the 500 to million square foot range. 500 used to be a really big building, and now it's sort of, that's an average size building, and you're seeing a lot of users in the million square foot range. I mean, just in our market here, we've had about 10 1 million square foot deals in the last 18 months, Michael.
Yeah. Wow, 500,000 square foot sounds like my house. It's no, maybe 500 square feet out there, listeners and viewers, is my house. So, what are you finding that's interesting to these tenants today? Is there anything in these new facilities that they're demanding or are wanting? What's the trend there?
Well, the industrial today is really the new retail. I mean, you're seeing growth on the e-commerce side for industrial that's in the mid double digits, 14-15% growth in retail sales over the internet,
right,
versus retail sales at the store level is under 2%. And so these companies are coming in and occupying warehouses and delivering boxes to your home versus you going to the store and buying. So that's where the growth is. Internet sales only represent about 8% of total retail sales in the country. Mm-hmm. So it's a very small part of the overall, but it's growing at 15% a year. So a lot of the tenants that we're seeing right now are retailers. We've just recently completed some deals with Office Depot and Best Buy, and you're seeing a lot of projects out there with Amazon leasing up spaces in and around the metro areas now.
Okay. And are they leasing some of these properties that are closer to the main cities for that last mile?
Yes, you're seeing a lot more of them leasing spaces for that last mile delivery, the same day delivery model where you purchase on the internet in the morning and it's at your home in the afternoon.
Right. Yeah. My wife ordered something. I think it was yesterday. She told my daughter to order and said, "Oh, make that Amazon Prime. I want it now." Right. That's
exactly
what's going on. So you're talking to tenants all the time. Can you give a tip for tenants that may be coming up on a renewal or need new space?
For the tenants out there right now, they need to make decisions pretty quickly. Unfortunately, even these million square footers that you're seeing out there, these users are coming out and they need that space in 3 to 4 months. So there's not a lot of lead time to build for them. And that's probably the biggest change as we're coming through this cycle. The users are really demanding that space in the next 90 to 120 days.
Wow.
and not wanting to wait for something to be built. In some cases they will, but in a lot of cases you're seeing big million square footers saying, I've got to have it in 3 months, 4 months.
That's interesting that they think that could be built that fast. How fast can you put up a building?
It depends on the municipality, but I mean we've built them in 100 days, depending on the site, to 8-9 months.
Yeah, that's amazing. So once you get the permit, you can move pretty quick, I guess.
Yes.
All right, well, stay tuned. We're going to have more on industrial real estate. We'll talk about the investment market some, so stay with us. I'm Michael Bull. This is the Commercial Real Estate Show. The Commercial Real Estate Show is brought to you by CCIM Institute, Commercial Real Estate's global standard for professional achievement. Visit ccim.com/CRE show. That's ccim.com/CRE show. Welcome back. I'm Michael Bull, and this is the Commercial Real Estate Show. We're talking about industrial real estate with Dayne Pryor. He's partner with Panattoni. And Dayne, are you guys buyers, sellers, or just developers at this point in the cycle?
Well, we do buy buildings. We buy buildings to try to fix them up and re-tenant them. So we're looking for vacant buildings to purchase and re-tenant in this market, also known as value add. Mm-hmm. We see still opportunities for value add plays in the markets, but we're primarily building new, ground up, going out, finding sites, figuring out what fits on that site, building what suits the majority of the tenant market out there that we see. Right.
So vacancy in some markets can mean opportunity, right?
Absolutely.
Great. And are you guys sellers in this market? It seems like the demand from investors is just huge for this space.
Well, we're both. I mean, we build everything as if we're going to hold it for the long term, and we capitalize deals with various different capital partners. So those different capital partners may or may not want to hold a property for a long time. They may want to flip. So it really kind of depends on our institutional capital for that particular project. Okay. We have our own portfolio of our own funded projects, and we keep those projects and continue to work off of that portfolio. But a lot of our institutional capital right now wants to hold long term.
Okay. And what are some of the top performing markets you guys see around the country?
The Sun Belt is still pretty strong. LA and the Inland Empire just it's crazy once again. I heard a good quote the other day that said when Inland Empire is bad, it's still good, and when it's good, it's great. So,
right.
But Chicago's doing really well. Dallas is very active right now. Atlanta's very active. Atlanta's probably the last of the major markets to sort of come out of this downturn, so it's still in the early innings of the baseball game. Tennessee has really picked up a lot too. We've done a number of different build-to-suits for great clients in Tennessee: Under Armour, Volvo, Nissan, Volkswagen. A lot of really great clients, and we're seeing a lot of activity in the Tennessee, Memphis, and Nashville markets both.
Excellent. And you mentioned a lot of the growth is in these e-commerce buildings, right, for the last mile, and get us those toys and things we want to buy and get them to us quickly. There's some real benefits really for these municipalities, right, with these e-commerce buildings. They're not the dirty old industrial buildings that don't employ people anymore, are they?
Right. These e-commerce facilities are typically, will have 500 to 1,000 employees in them, in some cases for a 1 million square foot building, and that obviously spikes up during the holiday season. But these are really good jobs with really good companies, and it's a very clean atmosphere, working environment. So they are really great employers now. It's not your, like you said, the old warehouse, dusty and dirty forklift driving kind of situation, which
right, you look $1 million. You didn't walk in here with dirty shoes on, right? And so are you seeing some municipalities that are open to kind of rezoning maybe some of these dead malls and things into e-commerce facilities?
You're seeing a transition in repurposing some of these malls to warehouses, and some of our competitors have done a really good job at doing that. But as rental rates are increasing and cap rates are decreasing and the values are going up, those sites that were really hard to develop in the last cycle are economically feasible today.
Right. And I think if you're living in a municipality that has a dead mall and you think it's going to be a mall again, well, maybe it won't. And so Dayne, thanks for joining us here in Studio One today. We appreciate it. Thanks for joining us out there on one of the radio stations around the country, iTunes, YouTube, and the show website. Next week we'll talk about healthcare. Don't miss it. Until next week, be sure you always lead, learn, and laugh, and join us for the Commercial Real Estate Show. The Commercial Real Estate Show is brought to you by Bull Realty, Asset and Occupancy Solutions, Xceligent, building data everywhere, CCIM Institute, the industry's global standard for professional achievement, Valuate, easily share what-if analysis with colleagues online, and First Service Solutions, your CMBS borrower advocate. For more information on how these businesses may be of service to you, visit creshow.com.